If you suffer from migraines, you know how paralyzing they can be, and quite possibly you've tried everything to alleviate the pain. This morning, we're going to get a local doctor's thoughts on some of the common treatments and the downfalls of those, and also effective treatments for long-term relief. Dr. Nigel Brayer from the Living Tree Center for Healing joins us this morning. Great to have you here.
Hey, thanks, Andrea. You also.
What are the most common types of headaches, and what causes them?
You know, the most common, Andrea, are going to be migraines, tensions, and then stress headaches, which are correlated together. And then the final, but very uncommon, is more internal headaches, meaning something actually inside the head. The majority are actually outside the head.
What do you feel like are the most common forms of treatment? Like for me, if I have a headache, I probably am going to take Tylenol. But for the extreme headaches and people who suffer from migraines, I mean, that's a terrible pain that they suffer. So what are the most common treatments that they're using? The
most common are going to be some sort of nerve interferer, like a Neurontin or something like that. And the key is once the nerves are irritated or once the blood vessels are irritated, the goal is to try to stop that. That's where the pain cycle comes in, is when the blood vessels constrict and contract, causing migraines. So the heavy-duty meds are going to try to interrupt that nerve communication to give them some relief.
What do you not like about these medications?
Well, the challenge with anything is understanding that a medication is purely to change the symptom. So the bigger question comes, how do we stop getting to that point of symptoms? And so once you're in that cycle, it's very difficult to stop it. So most of the headache prevention and long-term treatment comes from never getting or reducing the likelihood of getting to the actual symptom itself.
Okay, well, let's talk about what people can do. First of all, you have a paralyzing migraine headache. And in that moment, you just want to get rid of the pain. So if someone has it, could you understand why in that moment they'd want to take some kind of a medication just to make it somewhat tolerable?
And that's what's necessary at those times. So the big keys, and that's what people have to understand, is it's what you're doing when you don't have the headache that's important when you do. Once the headache's there, you don't have many options. It's kind of like most diseases. Once the disease is really ingrained, you don't have many choices left. So it's always, what can you do before? How can you manage before? Because headaches are kind of an outcome of many different things that have built up.
Okay, so in a time when you are feeling good, what should you be doing to maybe help? Would you say stop migraines from coming back? Migraines
can be reduced dramatically. Some people have predispositions, so just like some people hold tension in their neck or in their back or wherever, is some people are just prone to having headaches. So whenever things build up, that's where their symptoms are going to show. So the biggest thing is going to be back to what we talked about earlier in the show about nutrition. There's nutritional components that are exacerbators to headaches. So what you're doing, eating, can be building up towards a headache.
Like what are some foods that may really contribute to bad headaches?
The common ones are, like she talked about earlier, is preservatives. You have toxins, and then the usuals, which migraine sufferers know of, wine and cheese and things with sulfites in there. Those are known toxins, but what most folks don't know is NutraSweet, toxins, preservatives. Those are also what are called neurostimulants. So they irritate and make nerves more prone to being aggravated.
Are those sweeteners sometimes hidden in foods that we don't realize they're in?
They are. The majority of calorie-reduced foods are going to have those sweeteners in them. And of course gum and all those things that you don't even think about, is when the chemical load builds up, what that does is that really facilitates, which means it heightens the effect of the nerve. And then now you have a stressful event, or work is tough, or family, and poof, then it shows up.
There are certain foods that you just mentioned that you want to avoid. What else should you be doing when you're feeling well?
The next thing is you got to understand, where are you managing stress? Most people are busily running, and then they hit a wall, and then they have all their different symptoms. So it really comes back to your exercise, your relaxation. Are you balancing work and pleasure? All those things that build up momentum. That's the same reason we get stress headaches. And actually a lot of folks who get the stress or tension headaches, that's just a different manifestation of the same thing like a migraine would be.
And easy to say. I mean, maybe this is where we have to have the psychologist come in and managing stress, but in that moment, I mean, it's kind of just part of everyday living that we have stress in our lives. So you're just saying incorporate exercise and...
Incorporate exercise and understanding, as most folks are unaware of stress until it gets overwhelming. So it's like anything, as we exercise little bits regularly to stay healthy, we should have little points throughout our day where we can kind of balance ourselves, or at least be aware of, hey, I'm getting stressed, do some breathing exercise or some visualization or meditation or whatever.
Anything else naturally that we can take and put into our bodies to help?
Naturally, we want to make sure the liver is very, very healthy. That's where the good diet comes in. You want to make sure the nervous system is healthy. That's really the key component.
So those will all be linked to our head and our brain.
If the nervous system isn't efficient, if our diet, our liver, our kidneys aren't efficient, toxicity builds up more quickly. And so balancing that is going to drop that threshold so we have less and less likelihood of symptoms.
Well, this is something you definitely try to help people with, and I know you're offering a free consultation to any of our viewers who need some headache relief options if you call by the end of today. So you can give Dr. Nigel a call at the Living Tree Center for Healing in North Royalton, 440-877-9440.